This is a great big shout out to everybody in the Steam and DigiByte community. On the 18th of November, we have down in London the first DigiByte Blockchain London Meetup, the first meetup in the UK. I'll be really looking forward to welcoming Jard Tate to the UK. And I'll be excited to talk about and share with you the concept of a DigiByte Property Fund. Now, one of the things that I just wanted to put out and get this video out, in 2 weeks' time when we're down in London, I want people to already have started to think about digital assets and converting what we actually have at the moment into a digital asset. Now, currently at the moment, and let's keep the numbers pretty simple, at the moment there's been approximately 11 billion DigiByte assets that have been mined, of a maximum of 21 billion. Now, these DigiByte assets, if you convert these DigiByte assets into a tangible asset, and let's say for argument's sake we think of a property. Now, for the ones who know me and know me well, over the last 20 years I've been working mainly in the construction property consultant industries. And one of the things that I did about 15 years ago, from scratch, I built a property company and sold the property company just before the crash of 2008, a multi-million-pound property company. Now, one of the things that I was very concerned about when I was building the property company was the actual funds, the actual property was funded on the fiat currency system, which obviously, as we all know, is a debt-based currency system. Now, one of the things that I've been sharing over the last few years is that this debt-based fiat currency system is effectively going to be replaced by a distributed ledger system, a distributed blockchain system. Now, one of the things that I wanted to share with you ahead of the meetup in London on the 18th of November is, if you take the mean average of a property to build the property, at the moment, for just for keeping things simple, disregard the actual cost of the land, which obviously fluctuates. But if you actually look at the mean cost of building a property and keeping the numbers pretty simple, let's say the average cost of building a 2,000 square foot property was approximately $300,000. So you'd be working at around about $150, $160 a square foot. Now, one of the things that I wanted to try and get people to start thinking about is, rather than measure tangible assets, and let's take property as a tangible asset, rather than measure them in fiat currencies, if we now started to think about measuring them in a digital asset, which is backed by the security of a trusted blockchain, and in this instance, we are talking about the DigiByte blockchain. At the moment, the DigiByte blockchain is currently mined 11 billion coins to a maximum of 21 billion, and that is fixed. Now, at the moment, the DigiByte blockchain, according to the market, is worth approximately $250 million. So let's keep it again simple. If it was 300 million and a property mean average cost to build was $300,000, in theory, what we would then have is not 11 billion digital assets. We would actually be able to convert those into 1,000 properties. So what we've actually now got is, if you think of a property as a tangible asset, the cost of building a property, and that property is valued at cost at 300,000. 300,000 times 1,000 is effectively 300 million. Now, one of the things that I wanted to try and start getting people to start thinking, at the moment people are wired to be thinking in terms of fiat currency. How much is this in fiat currencies? How much is this in fiat currencies? Well, if you actually disregard the fiat currency and think about the digital asset, what we really need to be starting to think about is how much is this in DigiByte terms, or how much is this in Bitcoin terms? And once people start thinking not in fiat terms, fiat currency, dollar, euro or pound sterling, but in digital assets, what is going to happen in the future is that these digital assets that are capped at a maximum supply will effectively lock in value. And what actually is going to happen, rather than people think how much is a property to purchase or to build in fiat terms, in dollar terms or sterling terms, how much will it be to build in digital asset terms? So what I wanted to try and do with this video was to get people to think, for the ones who are going down to London on the 18th, I'll be talking openly with people about how we are best suited to market and promote the DigiByte blockchain. Because when you start looking at applications for this digital asset and what applications we can start using, then of course that will determine the way that we can steer the marketing and promoting. So what I wanted to try and do with this quick video, it's a gorgeous day, absolutely beautiful day, Saturday afternoon, and I've just come out and I've been walking and I've been thinking, you know, we've got 2 weeks to the 18th, and I really wanted to get people to start thinking that on the 18th, obviously, you know, we're all excited to meet Jar Tate, and this is a big shout out to Jar Tate, you know, for flying in to the UK to see us. But what I wanted to try and do was to start getting people to think about how we are best suited to harness the power of the DigiByte blockchain and start sort of looking at applications, and the applications that I'm thinking about are global trade, the movement of goods and services around the world, and also a property fund. So big shout out to everybody who's coming down to London on the 18th of November. Massive big shout out to Steph for everything that she's done over the last few weeks, arranging and organising. There was some great news that came out yesterday. Steph obviously and Cassiopeia Services have moved the location for the event because of the demand for the tickets. So big shout out to Steph. You know, I know she's been doing an amazing amount of work, and again a huge shout out to Dino and Rudy and all the guys on the DigiByte awareness team for promoting the event. You know, these guys have been working tirelessly in the background getting the message out. So big shout out to everybody in the Steam It and DigiByte communities, and hopefully we'll get to see as many of you guys down in London on the 18th as possible. Speak to you soon. Bye for now.